Hello there. I'm David A. Specht, and I want to be your coach. If there's anything that I have learned in my 30 plus years of leadership and coaching, I have learned that mindset is everything. Join me and my guests as we explore the positives and negatives of that thing between our ears. This is Keep This in Mind.
Just excited about this week. I don't know if you are or not, but this week is really, we're starting to kind of gear up, right? We're gearing up for the end of the year. We're gearing up for the holidays. And sometimes this is a great time for reflection. And so today's motivation is a little bit of a reflection. What do you mean by that, David? Well, I started going back through Cicely's book, Pull Up Your Chair, because that's really the methodology and the basis of a lot of what we do here. And I really started honing in on the C in chair, which if you've read the book, and I know that you have, the C stands for championing yourself, championing yourself. And as I began contemplating what was being taught there and a lot of the things there, I wanted to bring to you this question. Are you a champion? Do you have a champion mindset? Can I tell you that being a champion is more than mindset, that it's more than just something up here, but that being a champion involves an action. Let me explain to you a little bit what I mean by this. So you would probably want to say that, champions have a lot of confidence, that confidence is part of the equation. And I agree, confidence is part of the equation, but it doesn't necessarily make you a champion. I can think of a host of highly confident, highly skilled individuals who never become champions, who never make that leap from potential to realizing their championship. Now, sports obviously makes those are the easiest analogies because we see it on full display, right? There's some guys that you just think are going to be the bomb when it comes to their ability, that they're going to lead a team to a championship or they're going to win a championship in their own right because they've got so much skill, they've got so much talent, they've got so much confidence, and somehow it never translates to a championship. I can think of tons of great quarterbacks who never won a Super Bowl. I can think of tons of people who have elevated and were perceived to be elevated, even in business circles, that never quite got to the place of championship. So what's the difference maker? What is the difference between confidence and champion? Or what is the difference? What is the thing that gets you from being highly skilled, highly motivated to being a champion? Well, that is the word action. Actions are what make champions. You see, the championship mentality can be seen in the actions of the champion. While not necessarily on public display, it is noticed in public. There's a story about Kobe Bryant that Tim Grover tells about how Kobe, even at the height of his career, was still showing up every day to practice at 4 a.m. Why? Because he had a championship mentality. He knew, this is what he thought. He's like, look, every time I show up, I know that there's somebody out there who I'm going to go against who may be showing up earlier. That's the difference in the championship mentality. One of the things that we taught as health coaches that I think really kind of is a great example of this mentality is this phrase. You may want to write it down, especially with Thanksgiving coming. What you eat in private, you wear in public. What you eat in private, you wear in public. What that really means is the things that you do in the dark, the things that you do when nobody sees you, will eventually show up to where everybody sees it. And that from the context of what you eat, obviously that could be a bad thing. But if you really think about it, what work are you doing in the dark, in private, that will eventually bring you into the championship in public? Now, I may be preaching to the choir a little bit here because you're here. You're in this community. You are working on you. And that is a great thing because there are so many people in this world that aren't doing that they're just going through life to just get by. So congratulations to you for doing this today. But what all can you be doing? What are some of the other things are you reading books? Are you improving you? Are you taking care of your physical health, your emotional health, your spiritual health, whatever that looks like for you? Because as we take care of us, as we improve us, it will show to everyone else. So here's some 4 truths about champions that I didn't come up with, but that I've been noticing. Number 1, champions prepare, and that could be planning, that could be getting ready here, but champions prepare. Nobody ever gets to the gold medal stand at the Olympics and go, wow, I just showed up today and I won a gold medal. No, they prepared. They got themselves ready. They had a goal. They had a prize that they were going after. They practice. Number 2, champions practice. They work on their skill. They skill up. They get better. They work on themselves. They learn all they can learn. They really, really, really get serious about moving forward, which moves into number 3. And this is a difference maker. They perform. Not only do they practice, not only do they prepare, but they perform. When it is game time, they get in game mode. I think about Michael Jordan in the flu game, right? He was playing against Utah Jazz. He scored he won the game. He scored so many points and he was sick as a dog. Why? Because champions perform. Champions perform. Regardless of how they feel, regardless of whether they're going to get noticed for it, they perform. Which leads to number 4. The real difference maker. Champions overcome adversity. Champions overcome adversity. When you look in the sports world, a lot of times we don't get what they mean, but you'll see so many times when they're standing at the top of the mountain, they've won the national championship, they've won the Super Bowl, they've won the NBA championship, you'll hear the coach and the team members all say the same thing. This team has overcome a ton of adversity this year. They may be undefeated, and they will still say, we have overcome adversity. There's been a lot of adversity that we've had to work through. Why is that? Because adversity is part of life. Whether it can be seen on a broad scale or not, adversity is part of it. We say all the time that you can't separate work from life, life from work, home from this. And so even if that person at work seems to have it all together, you may find out that they were dealing with all kinds of garbage back at the house or all kinds of garbage in their family. And so adversity is part of life, but champions overcome that adversity. It may try to knock them down. It may try to knock them back, but they don't allow it to knock them out. So if you're dealing with some adversity today, know that pushing through, persevering, keep getting back up is part of being a champion. It's not easy. Being a champion is never easy, but it is so worth it. So here's 2 things that I want you to think about for a championship mentality. Number 1, champions believe they can win even when it looks like they're losing. I can't tell you the number of times I have seen major comeback victories performed by people that we would consider champions in the world of sport. And that in and of itself, you can see it. They'll come back from 2, 3 touchdowns down, or they'll come back from, boxers may lose 2 rounds and they come back and they fight and they win in the end. Champions know that they can win even when it looks like they're losing. And then champions keep getting back up even when they are knocked down, even when they're injured, even when they're hurt, even when there's a major setback. It's funny. And again, if you're not into sports, I'm sorry for all the sports metaphors, but these are the things that have been popping up to me. A lot of people know the story of Aaron Rodgers this season. He went from Green Bay to the New York Jets, and in his first game as a New York Jet, he injures his Achilles. An often season-ending, if not career-ending injury. But Aaron Rodgers, just on the Pat McAfee show earlier this week, talked about how he's walking. He's beginning to do the exercises to get back on the field. Just blowing the minds of doctors who are well learned in these things. And it makes me believe a champion has this fortitude, if you will, to push through, to keep working and moving forward. And so I believe that champions get back up when they're knocked down. So do you want to be a champion today? That's the question. Well, you need to decide that not only will you learn how to be a champion, but that you will do exactly what it takes to be a champion. Begin to change your identity. Go there in your mind and your body will follow. So my suggestion for you is to go back to last month. What was last month, David? Do you remember when Cicely sat down with us and went over the 4 mantras we're supposed to do every day? It is an identity building exercise. And if we do it every day, we will begin to take action every day. And each and every day we'll become closer to becoming that champion that we all want to be. Do you remember what the mantra was? I am, I have, I can, and I will. If you want a screenshot of it, go back into the chat from last month. But it's I am, I have, I can, and I will. The world needs more champions, and you have everything that it takes to be one. Now it is time for you to go and be the champion you were always meant to be. God bless.
That is going to do it for this episode of Keep This in Mind. For more, visit davidaspect.com. Like, follow, and subscribe. Thank you for listening, and remember, applied knowledge is power. God bless.